This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Gitten Erev Shabbos, Gitten Erev Rosh Chodesh. Good to see everybody. Shalom Aleichem. We have many amazing subjects to discuss this morning. We have a lot to speak about. It's great to see everybody. I'm going to take you right away to the this week's email. If you don't get the emails yet, please go to our site, rabbidg.com, and just subscribe. This way you get the emails, you know what time the Shiurim are, you know about upcoming events. Today we have 4 Shiurim. This is basically last call. If anybody wants to be mishtatif in the Sefer, we revamped the design. It's going to be a very a revolutionary design for a Sefer, and a beautiful interior as well. Very important topic about chinuch habanim, if anybody would like to be mishtatif. Okay, today's first year. No. Here we go. Davar Yafeh be'itai. Connecting Parshas Korach to the Zman of the year. Well, we know that Rashi famously says, Vayikach Korach, Rashi says, Parsha zu Yafeh nidreshes. This Parsha is beautifully expounded, which is very, very similar to the words of this whole Seder that we're learning, Davar Yafeh be'itai. What does Rashi mean? This Parsha is Yafeh nidreshes. The Pri Megadim in a Sefer Tevas Goyma says something very powerful. He says it somewhat humorously, but sadly it isn't funny. And that is, there's a concept the Pri Megadim says, Davar be'itai ma'toiv. Davar be'itai ma'toiv. To speak about something at its correct time is good. So for example, it's a good thing, let's say this Friday, if you would be giving a shir, to give it on Parshas Korach, or to speak about Rosh Chodesh. But if I were to give you a shir now about Lag BaOmer, that would not be good. Who wants to hear about that? Or let's say I would give you a shir now on Tu B'Shvat. I mean, everything is beautiful, but it's just not timely. You know, the appropriateness of something is often what makes it beautiful. So it's good to hear about Pesach on Pesach. Nobody wants to hear about it on Sukkot. However, this Parsha of Korach is Yafeh nidreshes. It's always timely. You could speak about it Bereshis, Nayach, Lech Lecha. You could speak about it weekday or Shabbos. You could speak about it Yom Tif. You know why? Because unfortunately, Ki ein sha she'ein machlokes. There's always fighting. And therefore, Parshas Korach is also always Yafeh nidreshes, is always an appropriate subject, unfortunately. Now, Rav Moshe Wolfson in the Sefer Amunas Yitecha brings a very compelling connection between Parshas Korach and Chodesh Tammuz. We always read Korach at the beginning of Tammuz, and Rav Wolfson very much developed the idea of Ashan. Ashan is Olam, Shana, and Nefesh, which means that there are corresponding ideas in Machshava, where there are people that correspond to time, and there are times that correspond to places. We've discussed this at length when we've learned about how Yerushalayim corresponds to Shabbos. But Parshas Korach corresponds to Tammuz. Why? Just like Korach got swallowed in the ground, and he is destined to arise in the future at the time of Tikkun, like the Arizal says, Tzadik katamar yifrach is soifei tevois. Korach, because Korach is destined to flourish la'asad lavai, we once explained that's why Korach has Daniel Psukim, because la'asad lavai, which is referred to as Daniel, as he was the only individual who knew when the Kates would be. So, likewise, Chodesh Tammuz is down and out nowadays. The Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Nowadays it's a Chodesh of Din, but it's destined to arise and to flourish at the time of the Geula. So what Korach is in person, Tammuz is in time. The same way Korach is destined to flourish, the month of Tammuz is also destined, Yeh lebeis Yehuda l'sasinus l'simcha. And this is our avodah this month, to transform Chodesh Tammuz. And we know the permutation that corresponds to Tammuz is V'chol zeh einenu shoyveh li. And all this is not equal to me, which is Soifei Tevois, the Shem Havaya, backwards. The remez of Tammuz is V'chol zeh einenu shoyveh li. Therefore, we want to transform it, and v'nahapoichu. And by the way, we want to make it that it's Rashi Tevois in the beginning of the word, instead of, we want to make it Rashi Tevois forward instead of Soifei Tevois backward. Now what's amazing is the Rashi Tevois of the words Zeh Einenu Shoyveh Li is 338, which is 13 times the Shem Havaya. And that's the way we're mamtik Chodesh Tammuz, we sweeten it. And we want to transform it to Soifei Tevois backward, to Rashi Tevois forward. So this is, we say after Tzadik Katamra Yifrach, Lahagid Ki Yashar Hashem. It's a remez, and in Chodesh Tammuz, which is the Bechina of Korach, it is destined to flourish, and it will be fulfilled, Lahagid Ki Yashar Hashem, that the Shem Havaya will be Yashar, will be forward, and Barashi Tevois. Now this is really amazing. The Gemara in Baba Basra, Daf Ayin Gimel Beis, tells us, among the wondrous accounts of Rabbi Bar Chana, that a certain Arab said, listen to what I'm telling you. And they heard that they would say, that Korach v'Adasa would say, Moshe v'Sayrasei emes v'hein ba'da'in. The Arab told the Rabbi Bar Chana, every 30 days they say this. Every 30 days they do this. Every 30 days, Gehenna kicks them up like meat in a pot. The Rashbam says every 30 days, every Rosh Chodesh. Every Rosh Chodesh. So every Rosh Chodesh, Korach gets kicked up to the surface. By the way, what's amazing is, I found, before I tell you what I say, I found in the Sefer Meir Nesivim, Rabbi Meir Margolios, that he says it would seem that the Rashbam had a Kabbalah, that not only is Korach kicked up to the surface every Rosh Chodesh, but Korach must have been swallowed by the ground on Rosh Chodesh. He makes an amazing cheshbon that the story of Korach must have happened on Rosh Chodesh, based on the idea that Moshe Rabbeinu davens, Al teifen al minchasam, do not turn to their offering, and he makes a cheshbon that the only possible offering that Korach v'Adasai could have had enough of a chelek in, that it concerned Moshe Rabbeinu to daven that Hashem should not turn to that chelek, is on Rosh Chodesh. He makes a cheshbon, Korach and his 250 men, that it will come out that he has at least a kazayas in the carbon of Rosh Chodesh. But what I would like to point out is, if the whole story of Korach revolves around Rosh Chodesh, he was swallowed on Rosh Chodesh. Every Rosh Chodesh he declares, Moshe v'Sayrasei emes v'hein ba'da'in. How wondrous it is that we always read Parshas Korach the week of Rosh Chodesh. Not only that, but often Parshas Korach comes out on Rosh Chodesh. Parshas Korach could be on Rosh Chodesh. Not often, but sometimes. And this year we have that occasion that Parshas Korach comes out on Rosh Chodesh. Now, in the Sefer Yetzirah, we brought it last week. The Sefer Yetzirah says the month of Tammuz is connected with the faculty of vision. Furthermore, we brought from the Arizal that Chodesh Tammuz and Av corresponds to the two eyes. Well, what does Rashi say about Korach? Uma ra'a Korach lachlik im Moshe. Why did Korach see to argue Moshe? Or Rashi says further, v'Korach shepikeach haya ma ra'a. What did he see? And then Rashi says, Einoi hatasa, his eye tricked him. Ra'a shalshelis gedal, he saw a great lineage. V'loi ra'a Yafeh, but u'moisha haya raya. Furthermore, they said, Ha'einei ha'anoshim ahim tenaker, the eyes of these people should be blinded. The Agra de Kala says that the words Ha'einei ha'anoshim ahim tenaker is a remes to Tammuz and Av. And when these eyes are beautiful, then the Sitra Achra's eyes are blinded. But on the opposite, then Eini Yarda Mayim. Anyway, so again, he also picks up on the fact that this is a remez to the month of Tammuz. Now, it's interesting. Chodesh Tammuz is the beginning of the process of tshuva. Because Tammuz, we once learned, stands for Zmane Tshuva Memashmishin Uba'in. The times of tshuva are on their way. So therefore, we read about and we learn about the Bnei Korach, that Rashi says the Bnei Korach, they did tshuva. By the way, before Tkiyah Shofar, we say Lam Natseach Levnei Korach Mizmar. And we're going to see an amazing remez, that when it says Nasu likailam. Kailam is Rashi Tevais. Ubnei Korach loimesu. I'm sorry, it's also Rashi Tevais. Lam natseach Livnei Korach Mizmar. Lam natseach Livnei Korach Mizmar. So that's another connection. It says, "Ubnei Yisrael nasu likailam." Likailam is Rashi Tevais. Lam natseach livnei Korach mizmar. Now, another interesting thing is that we brought last week that in the arrangement of the Shvatim, Chodesh Tammuz is Keneged Ruvain, and this week also we read about how the Bnei Ruvain joined with Korach, as Rashi teaches us that because the Shevet Ruvain was encamped in the south, a neighbor of Kahas and his sons who camp in the south, so they joined with Korach and his machlokes, Oyla Rasha, Oyla Shchenai. But this is the month of Reuven, and therefore this subject, the story of Korach, is a timely, relevant subject to this time of the year. Okay, that's our first offering for today.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.